Nobody hates One Piece more than a One Piece fan. These are famous words from a certain philosopher that you may have heard of. You're actually looking at him right now. So, One Piece has been on the receiving end of a bunch of slander these last few weeks. It's like the current get rich quick method. You go, you download Twitter, you make an account, you just tweet, One Piece is actually bad. And you're gonna get 1,000 likes spawn in within 30 minutes. Trust me, go do it right now. Come back and you will get it. And then all you gotta do is just like and subscribe. I just gave you free game and all I'm asking for is a like and a subscribe, bro. It's really easy. But in all seriousness, I do want to investigate some of the nature of this slander. I want to see where it comes from, who are the biggest mouthpieces that are parroting this stuff. I want to hit on a few of the points and I want to give my own thoughts to this recent wave. It's not the first wave, but it's the most recent wave. So let's get this out the way first. Go ahead, type it. Call me one of Oda's angels. I know it's coming. You can't say anything positive or in defense of One Piece anymore. But you know, that phrase used to actually have real meaning. It was for those guys that would defend every single thing Oda did. Kinemon getting cut by Kaido, the thing with Kaido and it being the law's powers that saved him, they would defend it. Oh, it was foreshadowed. There has been some indefensible stuff in One Piece. Let's get that straight. And some folks will lay their lives on the line defending that stuff. But over time, this phrase definitely lost its meaning. Now, if anybody criticizes One Piece in any way, and if you try to respond and argue that point, you're automatically one of Oda's angels. You can't say nothing positive anymore. Somebody can say a blatant lie. You correct it, and guess what? You're such an angel, bro. You guys can never take criticism. You think Oda's perfect. Whole time, the main dudes who cry about their right to criticize stuff hate to get any type of pushback. It's like your criticism does not exist in a vacuum. If you want to have the right to state your opinion, which you do, everybody does, but it does not have to be just blindly accepted by everybody. If you get pushback and somebody is challenging your points, that's the purpose of having opinions. That's the purpose of debates. And especially when you're saying BS. Some of y'all walk into these arguments, think y'all can say the craziest, most inaccurate stuff. And then when somebody responds, it's like, well, you guys are Oda's angels. Nah, bro, you just don't want to be challenged on your false points. The anti-One Piece wave has been a thing forever, right? It's happened multiple times over the years. It's going to happen again this year multiple times, probably. But recently, this one all started from a post about Maki and JJK. And it was like, imagine if Oda wrote JJK with some crying, laughing emojis, like insinuating that he's incapable. Now listen, I'm all for debating Hunter x Hunter fans. I'm all for debating Naruto fans, Dragon Ball Z, Full Metal Alchemist. I might even debate an Attack on Titan fan, but JJK, like, watch out, bro. It's levels. Like, you know, y'all can't chat with us, if we being honest. You see, the problem is you've been getting spoon-fed so many little crumbs by the author that you've had to make up a story in your head, and you might have made a good one in your head, in your eyes at least. And I get it, but out of respect for anime only fans, I won't spoil anything, but let's be serious. I know what happened. Let's be serious. But the One Piece fans getting fried. That's what's killing me. Like, all that smoke y'all got for other One Piece fans, it goes straight out the window when it's time to go to war. Y'all either on y'all knees with them trying to agree with them, like, yeah, bro, that I'm gonna get to those type in a bit. Or y'all just don't know how to argue. But let somebody say something about Mihawk is stronger than Shanks and see how many sweaty palms come running full speed to your mentions, calling you all kind of names. But y'all ain't got no smoke for these other fan bases cooking One Piece. It's tragic, to be honest. It's sad. Y'all don't really know how to argue because y'all been parroting the same points over and over about One Piece. Your arguments don't grow. They don't go anywhere because y'all been saying the same shit because it hasn't been debunked or confirmed yet by Oda. So you can get away with repeating the same stuff over and over. But when you got to actively engage and argue with another fan base, you can't say shit because you don't know how to. That's agenda piece has cooked the brains. It's ruined the arguing skills of the young One Piece fans. But at the core of the criticism, there is definitely something there. I think there's a real legitimate conversation to be had about how his female characters are often either sidelined and turned into damsels in distress, or how his old women rarely age gracefully. They get turned into big dumbasses like Big Mom or old hags. And I hate to say that word hag, but I feel like that's what he's trying to communicate. They've become like Gloriosa, right? They shrivel up, they get small, they look mean. Miss Bakin, Gloriosa. You got a few that age well, obviously. Clearly Shaki or Shakiyu will be the biggest one you could speak about. Is there anyone else? You can argue Suru. I don't think she aged as bad as Big Mom or Gloriosa or Bakin, but you know, her age is, she's wearing her age well, I would say. But genuine criticism is something that I'm very willing to engage with. There is a legitimate conversation there. This, coming from other anime fans, just doesn't quite hit the same, though. It's tough to hear you try to speak down on One Piece for misogyny, as if any mangaka is actually doing the opposite. Like, yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen did Maki. She had a crazy arc. It was an amazing arc. I've read Jujutsu Kaisen all the way through. Maki is one of my favorite characters. It also has Mei Mei and her very strange pseudo-incestuous relationship with her younger brother. And aside from that, a lot of the female characters are they're just there. Like, yeah, they're not ass, but they're just uninteresting or don't really do anything. Like, they just exist. I guess with the bar that Shonen has set, them not being ass is a positive. But to try to act like JJK's author is some champion of women's right is laughable, to be completely honest. And I know it might seem like I'm hyper-focusing on JJK, but that same thing applies to pretty much all of these major shonen manga fans trying to pile on One Piece for misogyny. All the shit y'all read has the same typical shonen beats. It does the exact same thing as One Piece, probably worse in most regards. So throwing stones from a glass home is just absolutely hilarious to me, because it's like, it's obvious there's nothing genuine here. What are you arguing in defense of? Your only argument is, yeah, Oda did this. Meanwhile, you got a fucking Abby from Fire Force. I probably need to censor that out, but y'all know what happened with the clothes of that girl every time she's on screen, right? And that's just Fire Force. Black Clover got some weird stuff with Shawty Noel going on. Like, it's every story. And I'm not saying it's right because it happens in every story. I'm just saying to kind of take a high horse approach to this. You look funny. Just being minded. But those are other manga fans. They're supposed to throw stones, right? But let's talk about the actual One Piece fans. Now, I warned y'all about the reality of Agenda Piece and the road that it was headed down. I said that constantly being involved in these slander wars and arguing all day and night and talking trash about these characters and hyping up one and wanting Oda to do this and that just to, you know, eventually be disappointed by it and then turn around and, well, Oda is trash because it didn't go the way you want. I said that this stuff would have negative effects on the way the fan base engages with discussion around the narrative itself outside of Agenda Piece. And people acted like I was just that one friend who was too woke, right? But this is what I call late stage Agenda Piece, where it's a bunch of dudes who have built their entire online persona around One Piece, right? They spend all their time slandering One Piece. Y'all are in One Piece group chats. Y'all in One Piece subreddits. Y'all are in whatever grouping of One Piece and it exists online. Y'all have found your way into that, and you've been a part of it for a long time. Y'all got names like Admiral Red Dog 115, Sakazuki Avi, a million tweets about One Piece, and every one of them is shitting on it. Why? Because Oda made Green Bull run from Shanks with his hockey. Like, it's literally, but it's not just Admiral fans. Don't get me wrong. It's all One Piece fans are involved in this. It's not like I'm trying to pick one, but there are some fan bases that do it more. Zoro fans, especially on the JJK side. There's a big overlap with JJK and Zoro fans. Could be the edgelord shit. Who knows? Anyway, they're some of the biggest perpetrators. Now, being obsessed with agenda pushing is not a healthy way to try to engage with any story. It makes you bitter when things don't go your way. It turns into what happened in Wano when Zoro didn't get killed Kaido. It turns into what Admiral fans are starting to say now that they seem to be not as strong as the Yonko or as strong as some people may have imagined, right? Now the story is trashed because it didn't go the way I wanted it to, right? Now, there are legitimate criticisms of One Piece. Don't let me act like that is not a thing. Don't take that from this video. I will never tell you that that is the case, or not the case, I guess. But it's way too easy to tell when your criticisms come from a place of wanting another agenda victory. You want to get online and quote tweet the fan of the opposing fan base and get your little 3K likes, and that's your victory for the year, right? You won. Let's go. Zoro fans, we up. Sanji fans, we up. Shanks fans, like, you know, that's literally some of you guys' existence online is not healthy. It's really not. And you can see now, like, almost, I ain't gonna say every discussion, but a bunch of discussions around One Piece now are just extreme. One side extreme, the other side extreme. This is ass or this is amazing. And it's like, you can't have legitimate conversations with a lot of people because agenda clouds the way that they are thinking or the way they're engaging, the way they talk about the story. And it's like, I can't have a real conversation with you because everything you're saying is coming from the place of you being mad that Shanks beat Kid, right? And it gets to a point where it's like, we ain't talking about One Piece no more. We talking about your fantasy, bro. And it's real funny because a lot of y'all been arguing with the same dude since 2020. Like, bro, just block him. So what is the takeaway from this video? Absolutely nothing at all. Why? Because there does not need to be. This wave of slander is not the first and it will not be the last. And it's not just for One Piece, it's for any popular media, right? Some slander is warranted. Like, don't ever let me go there and say you cannot criticize stuff. That's cap. But most of it is just grifting. We just gotta learn to recognize grifting. Negativity sells these days. It's literally the easiest way to get attention. Now, sometimes we just gotta see BS, just let out the long sigh and keep scrolling like, oh, this dude is making another post about why the admirals are mentally nerfed. Whatever. Just try it. But anyway, you made it this far. I appreciate you for tapping back in. I'm working on, look, my situation been a little crazy, but I promise you consistency is coming. The schedule is getting right. I'm finally back in the swing. I won't keep talking about this at the end of the videos if I was not trying my best. I promise you consistency is coming. And I want to start doing chapter reviews, but I don't know how interested y'all. If y'all would be interested in that, comment, let me know. One person say it or two people say it, I'll do it. It don't got to be 20, 30, just two people. Tell me you're interested in chapter reviews with me, and they will be on the way. So yeah, appreciate y'all for tapping in. Like and subscribe. Peace out.